Melbourne City were first created as Melbourne Heart 10 years ago. Obviously, CFG, City Football Group, took over, I believe, in 2013. I may be wrong, but they took over in 2013, and from there we saw colour changes, name changes, and pretty much just a change with the whole culture and environment. So, yeah, this year we hit 10 years. We celebrated 10 years in round 5 against Central Coast Mariners, I think it was. In the men's side of things, we haven't had too much success. The standout obviously being the FFA Cup final in 2016. Which, that was a memorable night in the stands. And with the women, however, the second they were introduced, absolute quality from the start. That's all I can say, really. They've won multiple league titles and premierships, and yeah, they've just been absolute class from the start. And so throughout the 10 years, we've had the Yarra side. So the Yarra side were the active support, or the home end supporter group for Melbourne Heart. As soon as CFG were announced they were taking over the football club, I think it was 90% or 95%. Yarra side ceased. They retired purely because they were the active support and home end supporters of Melbourne Heart, not Melbourne City Football Club. At the end of that, Melbourne City come in and the Melburnians took over. So, 5 years down the track, Melburnians are now done, and it's now City Terrace. So we've had 3 supporter groups, 3 very strong supporter groups, and it's just going to get stronger as we go ahead. So in December of 2018, it was made official that the current, or the former active support group, I should say, the Melburnians, who were quite successful, decided to call it quits. There were a number of issues in terms of police, security restrictions and regulations making it hard. Not enough support from the club, which is something the City Terrace has really strived on. We've had a really good relationship with the club. So in 2018, when they decided to call it quits, me and my 3 closest mates decided to come together, which we've wanted to do for about a year or so prior to that. We decided to create the City Terrace in December of 2018. We made it official as soon as kickoff, or as soon as the game was finished, the last ever Melburnians game. And we really got started with our first home game in January of 2019, and really kick-started from there. It's been a bit slow, as they say, that it takes more than 1 year to build a strong organisation. So this terrace obviously going to take more than a year to grow, and it's going to grow for multiple years to come. Pretty much, as I said with the City Terrace, a group of 3 or 4 of us come together and then expand into a group of 7. We all decide from there who would have what roles, so we're all very organised. Obviously we had our social media guy, we had our Photoshop graphic designer, we had our leader who was the contact and liaison between club and officials. So really it's just, we use each other's strengths. That's all. A graphic designer, obviously a graphic designer for a living, and the social media guy works in communications for a living. So we really used our strengths going forward with the City Terrace, and that's why we've got to where we are today. We're obviously not as successful as what I would like to have been, but we're definitely on the way up and can expect a lot more improvement going forward. Everyone in the current City Terrace leadership, I had no idea who they were before we met supporting the club we love. A standard game would say we're playing Western United at home this weekend. It'll start with a text message or a phone call between myself and the club on the Monday or the Tuesday, and our supporter liaison will have a 3-way call, and we'll just pretty much discuss the plans for the weekend, the pre-game pub, if we'll be marching as one to the stadium, what equipment we need inside the stadium so it can all get approved. Just little basic things so everyone can get on board and no one misses a topic, so it's all good on game day and there's no hiccups. As soon as the final whistle blows, it's pack up time, so everything that was inside the stadium, that's got to get packed up properly, or else it might get damaged or lost or stolen. In terms of organisation for our most exciting game, for the standard fan or the standard active supporter, their opinions will be quite different from each other. But from a terrace point of view, it's definitely the round 1 away derby at Marvel Stadium. We've got to get our items approved, organise a new pub, we've got to organise a march, we've got to organise our seating area. Just people like to say the police are harsh on Derby Day. I'll confirm that's a negative. They've got the same, they're as strict as they are for each game. Nothing changes, they've got the same rules to follow, no rules change for Derby Day. Just because it's a little bit more heated in the stands, nothing changes, they use the same protocols. So in terms of gaining trust from the club and certain people, it took me a solid 6 months to get, for me and my group to gain the trust. And through gaining trust, most of our conversations were done face to face, either at the club itself or meeting at venues such as the pub. Obviously use phone calls here and there, but yeah, most of it was done face to face. You do have to gain trust from the players because at the end of the day, we expect them to perform off the pitch, so they'll expect us to perform off the pitch in the stands. My favourite part as being a leader for the terrace, without a doubt, was the away derby win. It was our second ever game as a terrace at Marvel or Etihad Stadium, it was known then. We come out winners. We only had half a day there, obviously because there was no trust between the fans yet and the new supporter group. But we come out, we outsung the Victory fans, and we won the derby. So by far, that was my favourite moment. It will be for until something tops it, of course. The pandemic has actually, in my opinion, affected fans in a positive way towards the club. I feel fans are now more involved and want to get more involved in the club. That can only lead to more positives, which means more fans will be in the stands when fans are obviously allowed to return. If I was to say a few words to fans who are stuck by the club through this whole pandemic, it's pretty simple. We're all proud of you. You're staying home, you're staying safe, you're following the right rules, and following the right rules only means one thing. We'll be back in the stands in no time. So just keep doing the right thing. Everyone at the club, even myself and all our City Terrace leaders, we're all proud of you. And we can't wait to be back at Amy Park with an amazing atmosphere for the fans and for the players especially. And hopefully, leads to our first ever Premier's Plate or toilet seat grand final win. And yeah, going forward, can't wait to see you all in the stands, and hopefully they're soon enough.